Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Well Talk. My name is Matthew Fernandez. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm also the founder of Worthwell LLC. Today, I'm going to start out a new episode. I'm excited to do this and I'm excited to talk about this specific topic because it's May. And if you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And this is something that is being talked about all over. I think so many people, thankfully, are starting to talk about it even more now than ever before. And that is primarily because we're starting to see so many different issues come up at every age and so many individuals that are really speaking out and talking about mental health and what it's like to struggle with certain issues or even certain conditions. So today, it's really going to be a combination of a couple of different topics, but I'm excited to really bring up Mental Health Awareness Month. I think that the fact that we have a month dedicated to this is so important. It's so huge because, like I said earlier, so many people are struggling or have been struggling for too long and suffering in silence. And I think it's important for us to take a stance and really speak up for those who haven't maybe been able to speak out about this. So to start out, mental health, what is it? I think it's important to understand that mental health is a combination of three different things. It's brain health, it's spiritual health, and it is physical health. If you know what happens to the brain and to the mind when something is going off or something is going on, where the neurotransmitters are misfiring or there's a deficit in a certain area, or maybe somebody has too much of something, you know that it also impacts a person's physical functioning. And if you're struggling with something and you notice that your overall functioning is starting to take a hit, usually it means that there's something that's driving that. There might be an underlying condition or some sort of issue that is maybe driving that for you to have to look and say, well, what do I do in order to help myself here? And you see so many people that I think are now speaking up about it, which is important. You see it in media, you see it in sports, specifically so much more in sports, which is so great. I think it's great for people to talk about mental health in sports. The NFL just did a new mandate requirement for every team to have a licensed therapist or counselor, psychologist on staff to be there to support the team and the team players, anybody individually who's needing help and support. So that's huge within itself. You see it happening all over as well in other sports, the MLB, the NBA, just soccer as well. You see so many people, so many athletes talking about this. And it's important because it's impacting so many different people at every different age group. I'm going to say two different statistics right now that might be pretty alarming, but they are facts. And that is that one, depression and anxiety rates are at an all-time high, literally at an all-time high. Now, clinical depression and an anxiety disorder are different from just having symptoms of depression and symptoms of anxiety. You can have anxiety and have some symptoms that maybe are like depression, but not be clinically diagnosed with that. But we're seeing now that the diagnosis of having a depressive disorder or an anxiety disorder is so high and so prevalent right now that we've never seen rates like this before. The other statistic I want to share is alarming as well, and that is that suicide has now become a leading cause of death for teenagers and young adults between the ages of 13 to 25. Now, there's other data out there that shares that it might be even lower of an age than 13, but it is now officially a leading cause of death for young people. And so we're seeing this uptick in so many people feeling hopeless. And that's a word that I want you all to really hold on to right now, because hopelessness is what drives people to the edge to just say, you know what, that's it. I'm done, because they are hopeless. So we have to find hope in life. We have to find it. Now, for myself, I am a person of faith, so I find my hope in Christ. I find my hope and peace in Him. For you, it might be a little different, but I really want you to reflect on that right now and find for yourself, what is it that you have been placing your hope in recently? Is there something that you have hope for? Are you striving towards something? Because we need to remember that life is not about perfection, it's about progress. And without the progress, we can't really measure how we're striving towards our certain goals. So when we reflect on just all of the different things that are happening right now, we can see that people are really becoming stuck in a way of thinking, and that is constant negativity, constant pessimism, and that causes people to just ruminate and have fear and doubt and apprehension, and constantly has them challenging or second guessing their worth, their value. And if there's anything you take away from this episode today, it's to know that your worth and value is not determined by your performance. It's not determined by how many likes you get, how many reshares, how many compliments you get. It's determined by how you perceive yourself and what you know about your true worth and value. And that is that your true value is infinite. Every life has infinite value. So know that. Please know that. And I think that the first step you can take towards saying, hey, if I'm struggling with my mental health, what can I do to help myself? First thing is identify healthy coping strategies. What are your healthy coping strategies? You might not even have any right now. You might be thinking like, I don't even know what a coping strategy is. Well, a coping strategy can be super simple. It can be something as simple as doing some deep breathing. It can be something as simple as going for a walk or journaling. All of those things are really easy, practical ways to cope. One of the things that I think we struggle with the most right now in society is that people have unhealthy coping strategies. That comes from a deficit in a person not being able to truly emotionally regulate and help themselves during times of distress or times of disappointment or times of self-doubt or times of hurt and even grief. These are all times where people feel maybe uncomfortable, or maybe they feel like they're overwhelmed, and then they go to something. You know, when people ask you, what is your go-to? They go to something in order to help either alleviate, find reprieve, or push away that feeling of just being uncomfortable, or when we talk about the unsettling feeling. And you're seeing it so much right now too with young people, where young people are having panic attacks at just such high rates. You have young people that are really seeking out anything and everything they can to try and feel something. You have this epidemic of anhedonia, which is the inability to experience pleasure. And we see this apathy that's just flowing rampant through not only young people, but adults as well. And that's causing people to just have this sensation of, it's like an emptiness. And you see people walking around where they feel numb, or they're trying to numb the pain, or they're trying to take away the discomfort or the uncomfortable feelings that come along with anxiety or even depression or grief, or just all of the things that we're being overloaded with today as well, which leads me to even bring up, I think it's important for some of you might not like this, but it's something that I think needs to be said, and that is, it is okay to be bored sometimes. It's okay to be bored sometimes and then say, let me think outside of the box. Let me do something that is going to get my brain stimulated and really get me thinking and do some sort of like get some creative flow going. Because without those moments, we're constantly being stimulated to just say, I need something else now. I need something else now. I need something, and not taking a quick pause or maybe even a long pause to reflect and say, where am I right now? How am I doing? How do I feel? Am I in rush mode? Am I always thinking about the next thing? Am I always planning about the next thing? Am I always trying to be busy to a point where I'm not able to feel? Because think about this, especially for business professionals, your busyness might be hurting your business. Yeah, your busyness might be hurting your business. If you are constantly doing things where you're working and grinding and hustling, and I get it, that there's sacrifice that comes along with trying to pave a way towards something or a goal. But if that's all you do and you're putting out every bit of energy, mental, thought, emotional, physical strain going out, how are you recharging to be able to function at an optimum or an optimal rate? You're not. You're compromising your performance. So there has to be a time where you take to say, I got to recharge here. And you might think, well, I'm losing out on sales, or I'm going to impact my performance, or I'm not going to be able to grow or develop in this way. But you're actually helping yourself by optimizing your brain in allowing it to recharge. And what happens is nowadays we have so much access to everything and anything at any given moment. I have my other phone right here that is the iPhone Air. It's a super slim, compact phone that is light, and this thing does everything. It got a camera. It's got, I run my business through this. It's got a full on, like, what else am I thinking? Like, the camera is awesome, amazing. You can record, take pictures, you can live stream, you can run every app that you can think of. It's all in the palm of my hand. Now, if I don't learn how to balance it and I don't learn how to say, hold on, wait, I got to take a pause and put this away for a little bit, my brain is going to need that constant stimulation. It's going to need that constant dopamine hit to say, oh, new notification, oh, new text, new call, new whatever, update, new Zelle, somebody sent me money. Remember when these used to be flip phones? Remember when we didn't have instant access to everything? The internet didn't even load from Wi-Fi. You had to connect to the Ethernet cord. Remember when you used to have to put a DVD or even a VHS video into a VCR or a DVD player, or a CD into a CD player, or you had an MP3 player and you used to upload all your music on your iPod? Remember those days where video games used to actually have longer load times? I don't think that we have realized how much instant gratification is ruining our minds and really messing up our ability to not only emotionally regulate, but to function in a way where we're able to really focus in on the present and the here and now. We have lost that because we're constantly seeking out the stimulation or the dopamine or something to help us and keep us going. So then when we don't get it, I can't be bored. I can't just sit here and do nothing for a little bit, or go outside and get some fresh air, or God forbid, read a book, open up a book and an actual book. So I really want to challenge you all as we're talking about mental health and how you can take care of your brain and your mental well-being. I want to challenge you all to really step out of your comfort zone and try using some retro tech for like a week. Just 1 week. 1 week of retro tech. Now, I know some of you have businesses and have, like, you got kids, you've got things you got to do, you have emails, calls, contacts, business meetings, all that. I get it. We're in a new age and the demand for tech is really, it's there, like we need it too. However, I really want to challenge you to say, can I find a compromise here where I use it for certain things, but I also go back to maybe using a CD player, maybe watching a DVD if you have a DVD. Remember when you used to have to fast forward and rewind and then like go back on VHS? Rewinding took forever. Now we just get to skip. We don't even sit through ads anymore. Like we literally pay extra money so that we don't have to sit through ads, which used to be called commercials. Can you imagine? Like our minds are constantly needing to just be like, nope, need it now, need it now, need it now, need it now. And and what is the cost of that? It's taking away the experience of living. It's also taking away waiting. And waiting helps you learn how to be patient. And patience is so important because when you can learn how to be patient and sit and wait and be still, you learn how to stay in a present time and moment without losing everything around you. Because you know, hold on, it's still gonna be there. I need to pause. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of distraction or disruption. So with this specific episode, the main goal was to highlight that mental health is here. It's being talked about. It's not going anywhere because people are now being educated on it. And I think it's important for you to start assessing and evaluating your mental health and think about the things that you're doing to help yourself and even the loved ones that you have in your life. And so if you can, try the retro tech. Do something. Go get an old Game Boy and play a Game Boy game. I'm not talking about Nintendo Switch. I'm not talking about going on your PS5. I'm talking about, if you still have one, a PlayStation 1. Old school. Let's go a little old school. If you have kids, give them a flip phone. If they have a smartphone, they probably shouldn't have a smartphone until at least 18. Social media, if you need to, take a break from social media. Take a pause. You can still come back to it, but when it's truly taking over and consuming all of your time, that's when you know that it's most likely an addiction or it's something that you are needing to truly experience life. And if that's the case, that's not healthy. So I really want you all to consider this challenge, try it out, but also remember that mental health is brain health, it's spiritual health, and it's physical health. And when you find the right type of healthy coping strategies, you will truly learn how to work through things, moments of pressure, moments of disappointment, moments that maybe you even feel depressed, moments that you maybe even have a panic attack, moments that you maybe even feel numb and saying, hold on, let me reflect. How do I cope? How do I cope? Am I using healthy or unhealthy coping strategies for times when I feel uncomfortable or unsettled? And what is my go-to? That's the question that I really want you all to ask yourselves moving forward. And then try some retro tech for a week. Try it. You might be surprised at how nostalgic it feels. So again, like I said, just some simple practical tools for you all. But I really want you all to take that with you and say, I'm gonna slow down a little bit, just a little bit, because life is coming at me so fast. And if I'm trying to match that same rate, I'm not gonna be able to catch up. I have to say, no, I'm gonna take time to slow down and process life as it comes, because I'm here in the present and here in the now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay tuned because I'll be back again. We're going to continue this mental health series moving forward throughout the month of May. Appreciate you all so much. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. And that is it for today. See you all next time.